Welcome to Republican Talks, everybody. I'm your host, Kenneth Glenn, and today we're going to be talking to you about the Second Amendment and some fact checkers trying to say that the Second Amendment is wrong and what George Washington said about the Second Amendment was wrong and that he didn't mean what he said. So where this came from was I saw a post, and this woman on Instagram, she literally, all she did was post the quote of the Second Amendment that we should have a well-regulated militia and that the people have the right to bear and keep arms. Like, all that good stuff. And she just basically quoted the Constitution. And these fact checkers thought it'd be fun to just go around and just fact check the post. And what they fact checked was odd. They said that George Washington was fake, or what George Washington said about it was untrue. So then you go to the website, right? And then you go to the website that they there's their source to the fact check, and here is their quote. So it gives you a picture of what the plaque of what George Washington said about it, and here's the quote. Or here's what's highlighted. There's more to the plaque than just that, but here's what they highlighted. So the quote is, "A free people ought not only to be armed and disciplined, but they should have sufficient arms and ammo and maintain a status of independence from any who might attempt to abuse them, which would include their own government." And then it moves on from this. And then after you read that, here's the fact check. Only 10 words of the Washington quote are accurate. The rest are false and misleading. Out of context, Washington's speech. The context of Washington's speech, given January of 1790 to Congress, focused on the establishment of national defense, and the nation shouldn't have to depend on foreign entities for its defense. Washington did not say people should amass arms to possibly fight their own government. So that's their fact check here. They don't tell you why they think the 10 words are false, or the 10 words are accurate and the rest are false. They don't tell you why. They just say they're false, and then that's why. And then they say on the speech that it was focused on the establishment to national defense, even though it said the free people. The quote, Washington's literal quote said, "a free people." That means everybody who lives in America, because everyone in America is free. But he's basically saying that what the fact check's like, oh no, the national defense and the nation shouldn't have to depend on foreign entities. Like, no, you're right. We shouldn't have to rely on foreign entities, but he also wants us to be able to bear arms. And at the end of that quote, at the end of their gibberish, they said Washington did not say that people should amass arms to possibly fight their own government. Now, here's what I don't understand. So they should not amass arms to defend their own government? Why is that? Why do you think that? So you're telling me that George Washington did not want us to have arms just in case our government became tyrannical and went against us? Are you sure about that? That George Washington didn't want that? Because before he wrote this, he fought a tyrannical government to establish the United States of America in the Revolutionary War. He fought a tyrannical government to get where we're at today. So the idea that they think that George Washington doesn't want people to bear arms to fight a tyrannical government, potentially fight a tyrannical government, is absolutely insane in my mind. The idea that they think, oh, we're going to fact check this and just basically say it's incorrect, even though it's true. I just think it's crazy. And then they said, oh, everything's taken out of context. It's not taken out of context. It just doesn't fit your agenda. Here's another thing that Democrats like to do. If it doesn't fit their agenda, they like to say that it's taken out of context. This is another Democratic thing, in my opinion. I've noticed it a lot. Oh, if it doesn't fit their agenda, it's like, oh, I was just taken out of context. It's taken out of context. It's taken out of context. But even though it's really not, it's just, it doesn't fit their agenda. They have no argument to back it up, so they basically just have to, they're in a wall, they're like, yeah, it's out of context. You wouldn't understand. And at the bottom of the article, it has the our rating, partly false. So the fact check says false, George Washington's claim was false, to now it's partially false, which is just fun stuff coming from here. Here's their claim. We find the claim that George Washington made a statement that often accompanies the Second Amendment to be partially false, based on our research. The quotation attributed to him is correct in its first words, but then takes his speech out of context. Like I said, they don't really have any evidence to prove it was taken out of context. It was just, it was just taken out of context. They say it was taken out of context, but don't even show the evidence that it was taken out of context. All right, George Washington legitimately said, free people ought not only to be armed and disciplined, but should have a sufficient arms and ammunition to maintain a status of independence from any who might attempt to abuse them, which would include their own government. Okay, maintain status of independence. What do you think that means? It's just crazy how they think that the president who fought a tyrannical government doesn't want us to have the right to fight back against a tyrannical government. It's just crazy. Some crazy nonsense. And by the way, the article is made by USA Today. I'm going to put the link in the description below if you want to read this absolute garbage. I don't know why you want to. It's USA Today, so they're usually pretty garbage fake news anyways. So, yeah, here's the article. There's the real fact check of what it actually means. And I really honestly think that these fact checkers should be accountable for their own actions, and they should pay some way. They should pay in some way for all these fake fact checks that they're doing. They're like fact checks, but they're not really fact checks. They fact check a fact that they don't like, and then ends up being an incorrect statement, which is just absolutely crazy. It's funny how you can take a quote from the Constitution, and they're like, no, it's false. He lied. It's crazy. The same thing happened to me earlier, a year ago, when I posted a picture of the box of masks. You know, those little masks you could wear, the blue ones. And on the back of it says, disclaimer, do not use for COVID or any other viruses. And they fact-checked that post too, even though all I did was take a picture of it. That's all I did, was take a picture of it, and they fact-checked it. So, it's all an agenda-based thing. It's not actually fact-checking stuff. Okay? So, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button right there. It's free. And I don't think you'll regret it. And if you want to see my last video, it's right here. See you guys later.